My friend, 32F. Beat up my abusive husband, 38M. I am the same age as my friend and I have been with my husband for 12 years. We have 3 kids. He was a total sweetheart when we first got together, but over time his behavior started to change. He became very controlling and would berate me, then started hitting me. His behavior has escalated lately and he curses me out in front of friends and family. No one says anything, but I can tell it makes them deeply uncomfortable. My friend came over recently and he got angry about the meal I made and began cursing me out. My friend spoke up and told him not to talk to me like that. He stopped but asked me to talk in the bedroom. Of course, he was yelling and calling me names, then he hit me. He pushed me into the wall. My friend came barging in and he started yelling at her. They got into a fight and she beat him up. Actually bloodied him. He ran out and took off in the car. It has been a few days since then and I haven't heard from him. I'm in shock and don't know what to do. I'm scared he's going to come back and really take his anger out on me. I haven't taken my kids to school because I'm scared he might show up there and take them. I've told my mother what happened and she wants me to come stay with her, but I don't know if I should leave the house. 1. You have a true friend. 2. Fucking step up for your kids. If there were no kids, you had the option to stay. But you don't. You're teaching your kids to allow their partners to punch them on the face with no consequence. Be better for your kids. 3. Get a divorce, a restraining order and a new address. The worst thing you can do is staying at your place with the kids, all alone. That's awesome. You've got a great friend. Please get out of the house with your kids and get somewhere safe. Get out of this marriage. You should definitely go to your mother's. If you're in your house when he comes back, technically you can't stop him from entering. But at your mom's, if he comes, you can easily call the cops for trespassing and assault if he were to hurt you. You are so strong and brave. Keep fighting. Hug your friend, she just did you the best favor in the world. Go to the police station, explain your story, maybe even take friends so they can vouch for you, and go stay with your mom, kids included. Not sure how old they are, but maybe try to explain with as little detail as possible what happened so they understand, and I wish you the best of luck. Sounds like the start to Goodbye Earl. Get the police involved and stay with your mom. You go and file a domestic violence charge and then get a restraining order against him. It's up to you after that to only mend things with him or not after he gets therapy and proves change. But do not raise your children in this environment. If you do, you're also abusing them. Every second you stay in the house alone with the kids, you're all in danger. Gather up key documents and go to your mam's where it's safe. My 21F boyfriend, 21M, spends hours looking at himself in the mirror. My boyfriend is obsessed with himself. It'll take him like an hour to get dressed in the mornings because he spends at least 30 lanes just staring at himself in the mirror. When we go out together, I'll constantly see him checking himself out in store windows. He'll pretty much take a glance at himself in anything that'll show his reflection. At first I thought maybe he has extreme self-esteem issues or is always anxious about his appearance, but I think it's the other way around. He seems to be so full of himself. He'll always make comments about how good he looks or how he has the perfect body. I'm all for body positivity and having a great self-esteem, but it just feels so excessive. Should I be concerned, or is it just because he's comfortable in his own skin? Would you fuck me? ID fuck me. Tears of joy. Are you dating Johnny Bravo? Could be autoerotism, sexually attracted to oneself. Could be he's a narcissist. Could be he's insanely insecure. As long as he treats you right, and others right, but is super confident about his looks. No one is getting hurt, right? It just makes him feel happier, and I am sure he puts a lot of effort into it. Has it had a functional impact on things that he does? Or your relationship? Has his obsession ever made you guys late to things? Has he ever prioritized checking himself out in the mirror over other responsibilities? Does he display other traits of narcissism? Does he always think he's the smartest person in the room? Self-confidence is great. Thinking you're God's gift to mankind is not as great. Be afraid, be very afraid. Dude loves himself. Since nobody has said it. Is this unnormal because it's a guy? I mean, every woman I ever shared a bathroom with takes like minimum 1 hour to get ready in the morning and 2 hours when going out. Well, he could also be insecure with a high need to validate that he is handsome. If it's bothering you, then you can bring it up, but I don't really see the larger problem here. Ex-boyfriend won't stop telling every guy the first cheated even though it was 10 years ago. When I was 19, I had an unexpected pregnancy. My ex didn't want to keep the baby, but I did and we stayed together anyway. She was born with a birth defect and died at 2 days old. Because I knew my ex never wanted her, I definitely blamed him, which was wrong. I was upset he didn't care like I did. I ended up cheating with a guy at a support group whose young child also died. I take full responsibility. We broke up, and I took a big break from relationships and pursued personal therapy. My ex is married now, yet every relationship I've been in since, 3, including my fiancé, he's messaged the guy warning him that I'm a cheater, and the second time even messaged the guy's parents. Both the relationships ended shortly after, and now he's contacted my fiancé, who I actually told ahead of time and understands. I found out the reason why he's been able to find out about all my relationships is because he follows a ton of my family members on Facebook. I don't have it. Do I tell everyone to block him? I tried to talk to him about it and he says if I don't tell them I'm lying by omission. But it was 10 years ago. He says that it says something about my character that can't be fixed with time. I went to therapy. It was horrible, horrible circumstances, and I honestly don't think I'm a bad person. I don't know if it would be wrong to take this to his wife. I'm afraid he's going to tell my fiancé's parents or my future kids. I just want him to stop. What would you do? Edit. Speaking with his wife now. She's very concerned about his behavior and is actually a very kind woman. Edit. I was asked to put this into the post. I was 19 at the time, my ex was 30, and we're 29 and 40 now. Edit. He and his wife got into a big fight. She's creeped out by the obsession and worried he hasn't gotten over me. The age gap at the time bothered her especially because there's an age gap between the two of them and she thought he was making an exception for her. He sent my boyfriend a very ominous, "You will regret this" message and we're thinking of involving the police. He was 30. You were 19. Someone was emotionally stunted here and it was not you. Edit. Read OP's last edit. For all of you defending her ex, tell me how he's still a victim when he's dangerous and resorting to threats. Evaluate yourselves, Jesus Christ, before you identify with this man. Contact his wife. She might be the only person who could talk some sense into him. Grief affects people in different ways. Obviously cheating was hurtful and not a good move, but you got therapy to process your grief and it's been 10 years, he needs to move on. If he is stalking you to this extent after a decade, I would be very concerned about his mental stability. Ask family members to block him online. Explain that he is using their relationship to gain access to your life. No need to give details. If he continues, I would contact him directly and tell him in front of his wife and your fiancé to leave you alone or you will seek a protective order. Hopefully that will scare him off. Tell his wife he is stalking you. He is contacting your SOs. Explain you have been over him for 10 years but he keeps following your life. You won't hear from him again if he stays with his wife. The fact that you were 19 and he was 30 is troublesome enough without adding his callousness about condoms and your daughter's death. I'm so sorry that you went through all of that. I'm also sorry that you appear to be getting the worst of the internet coming here to yell at you for cheating. You were barely an adult dealing with something horribly traumatic. Maybe you didn't handle it in the best manner, but you took immediate measures to get therapy and move on from your grief, and this dead weight of an ex-BF. You deserve to be live happily ever after with your fiancé, and I hope you get that opportunity. Yes, your family should block him. This guy needs a life. He's basically cyber-stalking you and needs to be put to an end. Contact his wife and let her know what he's doing. She may intervene, she may not. But I'd sure want to know why he's so obsessed with someone that happened so long ago. I think you should take it to the wife. Not to be petty, but so she can know what kind of person she's married to. Would you have kids with a guy who was totally apathetic and unsupportive of his partner when his first child died? I mean, God forbid, but if they were to have children and the worst were to happen, how could she trust him as a partner? Would you want to be married to someone who has been stalking his ex for 10 years? GF 27F. Loves to get drunk and party and goes to random house parties. My girlfriend loves to get wasted and goes to random house parties. Sometimes friends, sometimes not, and it's usually a surprise where she'll end up at the end of the night. I rarely actually get an invite, but that's probably because she never actually plans where she goes. The next day she has either forgotten parts of what happened or fully. She doesn't see this as problematic in any way, and if I'd bring up I'd like to be there to take care of her, she thinks I'm being controlling and do not trust her. I am not sure what to do. She goes about once a week or 2 weeks. Sounds like someone either is the life and soul of the party or has a drinking problem and makes irresponsible decisions. Was this going on before you two got together? Surely you know what's going on. If you're okay with that, no judgment here. But don't fool yourself. So your girlfriend is an alcoholic who goes out without you and gets blackout drunk when she parties regularly, sometimes in unsafe situations where she doesn't know anyone, and often has no idea what happened or what she did during her benders. What you do is get an STI panel because who knows, she sure doesn't, who or what she's done at these parties, and break up with her if she's not willing to address her alcoholism and dangerous behavior. That's some pretty destructive decisions she's making. If you can't talk to her about stopping for respect of your feelings and her safety, I think you seriously need to have a look at your goal and relationship and where it's going. If you think she's not hooking up at these parties, then she's really got you fooled. I tried to make a relationship work with a 10-year-old younger party girl once. Today I'm a single father and she's still partying hard without a care in the world for our daughter. Leave her. It's only a matter of time before she cheats on you if she hasn't already. If she doesn't spend at least a little time with you and only goes to parties, or if she goes to parties more than she does hang out with you, I would leave that relationship. I feel like she's distancing herself from you, but first before you do anything talk to her, ask her to go out somewhere instead of a party. If she ends up declining, I would leave her cause I feel like there are more people that would actually be there and be with you, not out with other people. This has to be a jealous boyfriend making this post to show his GF, who got blackout drunk at a party and ignored him for a night, the comments supporting him later. There's no way this is real because it's so glaringly obvious the solution if it was true.